HP 40, man.
Oh, all right. Ready for some cigars, Mike?
Let's do it, baby.
Let's do it. What we got here?
Siglo 6. Oldie but a goodie. Cohibas Siglo 6.
Cohiba Siglo 6. You guys, we've had some.
Literally all-purpose, like, everybody loves it.
We've done a couple cigar chats where we literally smoked like the finest cigar of all
It was
time.
great. The last one was nuts.
And we both the last two times we recorded, the video got completely cut off and ruined.
Of course.
So we did the Cohiba 1966s, which is like unicorn of unicorn cigars.
Might as well bust out like pre-embargoes.
Yeah.
Video get cut off.
And then we did some crazy Partagas special editions last time. Video got cut off.
Yeah, the 160th anniversary
Yeah.
Aniversario of Partagas.
So
Those are beautiful cigars.
I hope this video actually we're able to release it, because we haven't been able to release our last two cigar chats.
No
And
promises.
people like these videos based on views. People prefer these over our reviews.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, we need to hire a camera guy. We kind of did.
We kinda did.
We kind of did, but we'll see what
They
happens.
flaked on us today.
We did. We were trying for you guys, and they flake on us. Said he had a cold and shit. My ass. Not cold anymore. It was beautiful sun. Good. Yeah, toast that motherfucker more. Just having a little bit of this HP 40 right here.
Oh, just a little bit of HP 40, Mike? That's it?
Let it breathe a little bit. Oh yeah, apricots and peaches and guavas, light salt, little medium heather honey peat. Nice. Beautiful.
We just did some reviews, like usual.
Just chilling.
We usually do about 4 reviews. And then Mike fasts. Then I eat. And then we take a break. Take like an hour and a half break. And then we come out and do a little cigar chat. Have some more drams. And then we do more reviews later on at night. So we'll take another couple hours break after this. And then probably do usually like 2 or 3 more reviews. What do we have?
Go heavier in the beginning. Yeah.
Heavier in the beginning on empty palates, empty stomach,
Yeah.
fresh. Just kind of go about it that way. So it turned out to be a beautiful day right now. This is amazing.
So funny. When Narby arrived this morning, it was dreary. It was foggy. It looked like it was going to rain. It was ugly. All of a sudden now, sun pops down a little bit. A couple hours before sunset. Now it's gorgeous. Now it's cigar weather, baby.
I'm having some iced coffee.
Lucked out.
Just kind of to go like an in-betweener. But we did an unboxing of
Now all of a sudden we need sunglasses and shit.
Yeah.
This morning it was like vampire weather, dude.
We got a lineup of Wild Turkey Cheesy Foil, HP 25, HP 40, and then HP 30 over there.
And the HP 25 is the spring 2019 release when it started going downhill, but still very good. That's a 2014 bottling. I have no clue what bottling that is, but that's the older 45.7 before the transition to spring 2019.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we got this guy. A 2014 Dalmore Portwood Reserve. A rare Dalmore. It's bottled at
6.5.
46.5%.
Do you know what year bottling that is? You said it was an older bottling, right?
2014. Just shows you, man, when Dalmore bottles above 40%, good things can happen. Yeah, 2014 bottling. Just a little mix.
Yeah. I think I mentioned it already. I'm having a little iced coffee as like an in-betweener.
Dude, showcase the brand, man.
No.
How expensive is that, dude?
Oh, it's like a little $3 can of iced coffee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It looks expensive. Looks fancy, dude.
Yeah, maybe.
Great marketing. Probably get sued if you show the can. It's great marketing, dude.
What are you drinking? You drinking some hazy?
Yeah. I'm drinking a local brewery, Ventura, Sumi, Topa Topa Brewing Spectro Hazy IPA. Really
Wow.
nice. These are really tropical, juicy, hazy too.
We have
Not bitter at all. Good hop flavor, not bitter at all.
We unboxed this HP 40
Hence the theme, yeah. Got inspired.
today, and we had a little bit during the unboxing, and it's actually been sitting in the glass now for what, 3 hours, 4 hours?
Yeah.
So it's been breathing for hours, and we're just nosing. You know, we'll do that when we open a bottle. Sometimes we'll just leave it in the glass for like 6 hours, and just experience the journey of it breathing. And then we'll play around with it. We'll pour it in a different glass. We'll try it in here.
Good.
We'll try it in the Glencairn. We'll try it in like a cognac style glass, and then we kind of figure out which glass we prefer a certain whiskey in, and kind of go about it that way. And then it's kind of like, all right, I'm grabbing this whiskey. It pairs well with this glass. This whiskey pairs well with that glass. It's kind of like a fun, nerdy thing to do with whiskey. I highly recommend trying, you know, your bottles and your 2-3 favorite glasses, and try to, you know, analyze the difference that you get from the nose.
Now it's so much more honey beeswax on the palate. It's nuts. But yeah, always. Every glass is different. Every whiskey's different.
Absolutely.
Even you can even try it out of a sippy cup.
So, one thing we want to talk about today is what values are left
There you go.
in Scotch whiskey on the higher end spectrum, right? We always like, you know, like Roy Aquavite, he specializes in like doing his channel around like ultra values, like you know, what's the best whiskey under 50 pounds, right?
Right, or like we're catching maybe a value before it blows up.
Correct.
Gets hyped out.
Correct.
But everyone discovers it.
Yeah. Discovering it before it becomes really popular.
Exactly, but you
the-
still grab it.
Like you did with the Kilcairn 12.
Right.
Not everybody
Grab it,
wants it.
stock up, bunker it before it goes nuts.
And we
Exactly.
found, you know, we discovered that whiskey from his channel. So
From Roy.
he's great at
Thank
doing.
you, Roy.
He's great at doing that with, you know, more budget friendly. We obviously, you know, we specialize a little bit more in the higher end whiskey stuff, and there's really never any value in the higher end because you're always going to pay an ultra premium. I hear an ice cream truck coming.
Want some ice cream?
Yeah.
Hey, I told you it's a nice day all of a sudden.
Yeah. You're always going to pay an ultra premium for something that's 25 years old, right? And above, 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old. You're going to way overpay no matter what. So when I say value, the value is in relation to the rest of the market.
Sure. Relative.
For example,
Big time.
we all know Macallan is way overpriced, but a 40-year-old Macallan is $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Who cares how much it is? It's stupid, right? It's stupid expensive. It doesn't make any sense. You go to the other spectrum, a Glen Farkless 40-year-old being perhaps the cheapest one out of all the 40-year-olds goes for $1,200, $1,300.
Right.
So, what is remaining value? OB obviously not independent bottler. Independent bottlers, there's always random, very unique
Nutty values.
values that you could find from those. That's a whole separate topic.
Different
But we're
conversation,
talking
yeah.
about like the regular big names. What are just to name a few: Highland Park, Macallan, Balvenie,
Glenfiddich.
Glenlivet, Lefroy, Ardbeg, Lagavulin, all the big names.
Yeah.
So, what from those distilleries is there any value left?
Correct.
And the answer is yes and no. There, if you want to go in relation, the main thing, what we noticed recently is what happened to Balvenie.
Yes.
Balvenie used to be extreme value. I remember a bottle of Balvenie 30 used to be like one of the cheapest 30-year-olds. One of the cheapest 30-year-olds on the Whiskey Exchange.
Passed by it so
This
much.
was like, we're talking 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It used
No,
to
I
be one
know.
of the cheapest
Always
30-year-olds.
passed by it and shit.
And the 40 used to be good value, and all of a sudden it doubled in price, and it's like, doubled in price, I can't believe it. Then it doubled in
quick,
price.
yeah.
Then it kept going up. Recently, Balvenie 30 doubled in price again,
Yeah.
and the 40 did like a 50% increase or something like that. So then you compare it to, you start looking around all the big names, you know, which other brands have gone crazy recently in price and which kind of haven't really spiked up yet. And one thing we noticed is Highland Park still hasn't exploded in price. And what I mean by that is Balvenie 30, the cheapest you're really finding it right now is $2,000.
Damn.
This Balvenie 30,
Highland Park 30.
This Highland Park 30, which is a really dark vatting of the 45.7, the older
There's
bottling.
some variation in those bad boys.
Excellent whiskey. There's a lot of variation in these. There's a lot of variation. Yeah. But if you find a dark vatting of the 45.7% ABV, they're fantastic. And we've gone through many bottles of Highland Park 30, but this particular one is actually a fairly recent purchase for $1,000.
Yeah.
So half the price of a Balvenie 30. And I would say equally as good. Probably. They're both really good. Yeah, I would say equally as good.
Yeah, very close.
So yeah, both excellent whiskeys. So in that sense, it's a 30-year-old Scotch at a nice ABV, really flavorful. Turn it down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. It's I just don't know if they can hear it. I think if you want to look at it in that sense, it's value. Again, $1,000 is never value, but the fact that we can still hunt and find a few of these left,
in the wild,
it crept up to like $1,200 in most places.
Yeah.
But you could still really hunt and find it between the $1,000 and $1,200 range. Now, they were in that $1,000 to $1,200 range even a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So the value is that there's zero doubt in my mind that this will be a $2,000 bottle a week from now, 6 months from now, whenever it is.
At some point.
It's some point soon, some point very soon, it's gonna explode in price. The 25-year-old, this one in the US is pretty expensive, but in the UK it goes for like $450.
Yep.
Personally, I'd rather double up and get the 30. The older 30 is so much better.
Yeah.
But this is also, considering it's 25-year-old Highland Park, I personally am not rushing out to get one just because it doesn't wow as much as the older ones.
Perspective. How much are the good old 25s at auction? Like your favorite, 48.1. 2 versions ago, right?
$750.
Okay.
$700.
So you're getting closer, to the $1,000 range. Got it.
Yeah, when you add all the fees and shipping and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you see the lighter?
Of course. Yeah. This kind of in that medium range.
Surprised my cigar went out.
Like it's really good, but it's a victim 2019 of the boom already. Oh, it's out.
It's out.
Go fill it up.
Yeah, Mike. This is the problem with these little lighters.
I know. It's a victim of the boom already. 2019.
Yeah. So the reason why this Highland Park 40 was intriguing is you could still find them at the same retail price that it's been over the last, I don't know, like 2, 3, 4 years. And when you take that out, it's a 2,500 pounds. It's extremely expensive. Comes out to just over $3,000. But you look at the Balvenie 40 is $6,000 retail now. It's half the price again of the Balvenie 30. Just kind of using those as an example because we've always viewed the Balvenie 30 and the Balvenie and the Highland Park 30 and the 40-year-olds as kind of comparable in quality. That's why I kind of use those as price comparisons. And I have no doubt that this particular Highland Park 40, this version, not the new ones that just came out, but even the new ones that just came out, but these older ones are so much better quality-wise. I have no doubt that they're probably gonna close to double in price soon. So in that sense, they're kind of value. Again, ridiculous to say, I know, because it's thousands of dollars, but in the sense of what it's going to be, and we're not buying them as investments, but you literally could. You could buy them as investments and flip them and make a lot of money. That's not what we do. We obviously, as you guys can see, open them. But it's also an investment in terms of opening, because if you do want to buy it later to enjoy, you're going to have to pay double. So in that sense, Highland Park is still offering value compared to other brands. You see what's happening to Springbank in the secondary market recently, because you can't buy Springbank anymore at retail shops. It's pretty much all secondary, and that's doubled and tripled in price.
So nuts.
Mike, I think we need a torch style lighter. These lighters are not doing it.
You good?
Sounds like it's on, but
it's on. Quite beautiful. If I didn't toast enough in the beginning.
maybe, but
Got a massage.
not lighting.
I have matches. We need one of those $500 Cohiba Lignes. Cohiba DuPont Lignes. Grab this bad boy. This is my. There you go. There you go, Dougie. It's much lighter on the tropical bourbon side. It's very nice though.
So yeah, Highland Park. The next one for me is Lefroy.
Yes, Lefroy is still very good value, especially on the aged. The upper echelon
Recently,
aged and
Recently, a local shop by us, the 25, they brought the 2017 version
yeah, it was
and the
gangsta.
2018 version at $400 for the cask strength 25-year-old.
Yeah,
Again, $400 is a shitload of money for a whiskey,
Yeah.
but it's Lefroy
25.
and it's cask strength and it's 25 years old.
Yeah.
You compare that to what's going on in the whiskey market from a big name like Lefroy from Isla, you don't really get big age statement stuff from Isla, and Lefroy being one of the main ones.
How much was Ardbeg 25?
It's $1,200 retail.
And that was saying that was 46%. It wasn't cast strength, right?
The only issue is Ardbeg 25 is not any better than Lefroy 25.
Yeah,
That's
what-
the- that's
what I
the
mean,
issue,
though. How
yeah.
much was that?
Yeah,
It's still great value.
yeah, yeah.
To mention Macallan 25.
So Lefroy, also the Lefroy 30, you could still find a 2016 cask strength release
That's a great one, yeah.
for $1,000.
It's a great value.
So that goes in the same realm as the Highland Park 30, where you're getting Lefroy 30 cask strength
Cast strength.
for $1,000. Again, $1,000.
Is that what
Shitload
that's
of
what
money.
the Ian Hunter releases, right?
The Ian Hunter releases also retail anywhere around $1,000.
Okay, got it.
But that's not the one I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah, the other one.
Yeah.
Those are also good value, though.
Mhm.
Those do vary, bourbon, sherry, etc. But they're probably
Correct.
all-
My
probably
point
all
being
bomb.
is if you want a future special bottle or a current special bottle or something
Right.
that you want to get for a special occasion, you want that nice age statement on there from a big name.
Right.
I don't think you're going to see it anymore for these prices, unfortunately. And
Yeah.
it's already ridiculous, I know. But it's going to get even more ridiculous.
It's only going to go crazy as far as we see.
It's gonna, yeah. So it's everything is showing that it's gonna go towards that extreme direction. So you might say there's other brands that there's many others as well. Like for example, Glenfiddich, also for the 30 and 40, but they're just not as good.
No.
I don't think they're as good as the Highland Park and the Lefroy. So there are other brands that are gonna offer you lower prices, but when I think of my favorite high age statement releases, those are the ones I'm referring to.
Maybe some older versions, but not anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah, not anymore. No way.
Bunnahabhain 25.
There's a bit of good beeswax in this bad boy all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Just at 46%. It's pretty good, man. I talk
Yeah.
shit on it, but it's pretty good.
We scored it 90 out of 100. How bad could it be?
I know. It just, we're so spoiled by the older versions.
Yeah, no, it's excellent. The 25 is excellent.
25 has so many good different versions.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
no. That 25, you can argue, is going to be easily $1,000 bottle soon. You can get it for like $450 now.
Definitely. Oh, yeah, Bunnahabhain 40. Yeah.
Bunnahabhain 40, we didn't like that much. We liked it, but for a 40-year-old, we weren't that into it.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe there's a reason why
It's
one
a little
of the
less.
cheaper 40s.
Yeah, I think with Bunnahabhain, you know, go for the 25-year-old, especially if you can find an older version, you're gonna find some value there.
Yeah. Have you tried that new 30?
Added it to cart like 19 times.
Right? The new Bunnahabhain 30, I bet, is nuts.
It's not nuts. From my understanding of what I've heard, it's very good nose, but just a very thin palate,
Okay.
which is what turned me off for $500-600.
Right. What's about it?
Good question.
Like 46%?
Something like that, but it's
It's not cast strength though.
no, and it's all sherry. But it, like from what I understood, it led to very thin and disappointing palate. Short finish.
We tried the new Glenallachie 30. Glenallachie 30. Cast strength. Got it.
I don't know. Balvini's kind of set the tone for me in terms of like what I think is going to happen with some of these other big names.
Yeah.
And we obviously Macallan doesn't count, but Balvini was never any bigger than Highland Park or Lefroy.
Right.
Even Dalmore 25, which is a very good whiskey.
Yeah.
You could still find those for 1,000, 1,100-ish.
That's true.
And
Definitely.
considering that the Dalmore, the 35, 40, 45, those increased by 30 to 40%. And I have zero doubts the Dalmore 25 is going to be, a couple $1,000.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely.
I know it's all silly talk in terms of like, okay, I'm not going to be spending $1,000 on a bottle of whiskey anyways, and I totally get that. I totally get that. But you guys are also familiar with our channel. We do a lot of really high-end whiskey, so the conversation, I feel like, is okay to have.
Yeah, people are used to it by now.
Yeah.
It's what we talk about.
Yeah. So,
It's in that realm.
how's your beer?
Bomb. Juicy. Look at that juicy pineapple guava. My thing is I like hazies because a lot of like West Coast IPA, it's like who can make the bitterest beer, you know?
Yeah.
This is the beautiful flavor of the hops, all different kinds of hops, but not too bitter.
Yeah.
Focusing on the juicy.
I've never tried that one.
It's really
You
good.
said it's a local one.
What?
Sun's going away.
Oh yeah, that was fast. Oh yeah. Cloud. Yeah, it was major cloud coverage today. Just a matter of when they let the sun out. Got lucky. Had a little window. Like I said, hella vampire weather today.
We want to make a video later on, probably. It's always tricky talking about videos later on because we don't know what order.
You don't know if you will release it.
If I will release
the
or
camera cuts out.
what order
Memory
I'm gonna,
cuts out, yeah.
What order I'm gonna release it sometimes.
Yeah, you released the Christmas one like last month or something.
Yeah, we had a really nice Christmas cigar chat that is it's just not releasable. It's just like it cut twice, and we literally it's just weird.
It was legendary too.
The cigar was. I don't know if we were legendary. We weren't so legendary, but the cigar was definitely legendary. But yeah, so
Speak for yourself, Doug.
I know. We've been. When I say we've been, Mike's been because of the area he lives in. There's no hunting opportunities where I live because I'm like more like towards like the heart of LA area, and Mike's good like hour and a half away from like the heart of LA area. He's in more like a beachy area. And he's been driving around to any and every liquor store he could possibly find within an hour's distance, would you say?
Yeah.
And
Even like 7-Elevens and stuff.
that's hilarious. Yeah, 7-Elevens. Go looking for Springbanks at 7-Eleven.
Everything. You never know. You never know. Dusty Springbanks. Yeah.
And it's so hard to find anything dusty where like we almost have to redefine the definition of dusty now.
Well,
Like 5 years ago it's not
relative.
dusty.
It's
It's relative.
It's not like 80s turkey. Yeah, it's relative.
Yeah, but you found like an older bottle of Lecheg.
Yeah.
You found some You got some Springbanks, some older 15s,
Yep.
some older
Yeah, like the
18s.
older box.
Yeah. Yeah, some
Like
old,
kind of like when we used to start the channel and do Scotch Club and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. You some older 18s.
Mm-hmm.
You found a couple older. You found an old 12-year-old Highland Park 12.
Yeah. That was the same box as the 18 we did. So I think it's like early to mid 2000s. I mean, it's what the commenters looked it up and corrected us and said, yeah, like early to mid 2000s.
Yeah.
Older box style, but yeah, it's really good.
This is all when I'm saying like recent. This is all within the last couple of weeks of kind of hunting.
Call it modern hunting.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. You have to remember we live in Los Angeles, and like people know. It's not like an area where people are not drinking scotch.
People come from the Bay Area and stuff and hunt. It goes both ways.
Yeah, yeah. What else did you find? Oh, you find an older bottling of Lagavulin 12?
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, a 2015 release of Lagavulin 12 for the original price, $120. That was pretty good. And it's really good.
A lot of older brown box Macallan 12s.
A lot of older brown box Macallan 12 still.
You found those between 70 and 100, considering the new one is now around here retailing for $90.
Yeah.
So that's it's a better quality version between 70 and 100, and it's going for over $200 at auction now.
Right. Yeah, stuff like that.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, overall, this area is all about bourbon. So it's pretty good to hunt for Scotch here.
You've done the bourbon hunting around here. I think you've exhausted that.
I've exhausted that. Wow, the Siglo 6, dude. Never disappoints, man. You good? You good now?
I'm good now. It's a little peppery. But maybe because I relight it. Sometimes when you relight it, it gets a little peppery.
Adds a little char to it.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So it got a little peppery after I relit it. Because you're relighting ash.
Exactly.
The key is to not have any ash on there.
You gotta.
You have to relight it right away.
Blow it out and kill the ash. Yeah.
Yeah, with cigars, if you put this out and you come back to it like 2 hours later, it's just nasty. You can't leave the ash for that long and relight it. You could obviously relight it right away and it's fine, but you don't want to have any ash on there when you're relighting it.
Start tasting like Lafroig.
Yeah, yeah.
Cold ash. Mm-hmm. We're talking about it. Speaking of hunting, the from what I understand, a lot of my friends up there, the Upper Bay Area is like an untapped resource. We were just joking, like it'd be fun. Literally do like a whiskey trip. Just go up and down California.
Why are you telling people? I'm just kidding.
Just hunting.
I'm totally messing.
No, I know. Just like a fun thing, like whiskey-based trip.
Yeah, it's unfortunately been so exhausted and like. You're basically doing it to find an older, Macallan 12 maybe.
Like an older, modern, fairly modern bottle.
Yeah,
no,
yeah. You're gonna have to.
It
have
is
to
what
get
it
really lucky.
Yeah, it is what it is.
The best thing you're gonna possibly find is you go to like a very like ghetto area, like where like people aren't going there to buy scotch.
Right.
Kind of like a little sketchier area.
Yeah.
And maybe they're gonna have a bottle of Macallan 18 sitting around from like 10 years ago.
Like a 92, 91 or something.
Yeah, because back then, the Macallan 18 was 120 retail, and maybe they grabbed one or two just because they were available.
Right.
And that was their high-end bottle.
That was their high-end bottle just in case.
Yeah.
And it's still 120, whatever, yeah.
Yeah,
that
is your best
That's your best
bet.
case, yeah. No, I know. It's still fun, though. The hunt, man. Something about it.
It's a lot of fun.
It's still fun. Addictive. No, honestly, like those older HP 12 and 18s, man. It was probably like that's a great hunt. It's a great find.
Those are awesome.
And the HP 12 was $50. It was the same price as like the older HP 12, like the yellow label HP 12.
Honestly, you guys,
It's pretty good.
there was a time where Highland Park and Macallan were somewhat similarly priced. Obviously, like the 25 and 30 Macallan were always quite a bit more.
Yeah.
But Highland Park 18, I think, used to be $100, and the Macallan 18 was 120, $130.
Like 120 forever.
Yeah. So it was a $20 difference. Yes, it's 20% more, but 100 and 120 is not that different. And you look at Highland Park now, the 18 is retailing at 150, and
Yeah, the new like Viking bottle, Viking Pride
and
bottle.
the 18 Mac now retails at 400 plus.
That's a good point. To the HP value point. Yeah.
The HP value has remained.
Yeah. And you were saying, well, obviously you know how we feel about the newest Mac 18s. You were saying I haven't tried it. The new Highland Park 18 is pretty good, right?
It's not as good as it used to be, but
Is it as bad of a drop off as the Mac 18?
It's
No,
a
I
drop
know.
off. Yeah,
Well,
they're both a drop off. Yeah. Let's just say they're both a drop off. I'm not going to decide which one's more of a drop off, but yeah, they're both a drop off.
Noticeable difference. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say the Mac is more of a drop off.
The Mac 18 for some reason. Now, don't get me wrong. We always say it. We're doing cigars. The new Mac 18 with cigar for some reason works perfectly. The cigar takes away the pencil shavings and nasty ginger, and over ice. Over ice helps it too, which you shouldn't think of with a Mac 18.
No.
I don't know why. It just doesn't agree with us the best. If you're doing a hardcore like nosing neat, you know.
It's even neat. Even neat. I prefer the new Mac 18 with the cigar. I think it works really well.
Yeah.
Something about
It works with the cigar. Man.
It becomes like this creamy velvety kind of thing with the cigar, and I stop thinking about what Macallan used to be when I'm having it with a cigar.
That's the trick. It's the trick.
It allows me to get brainwashed a little bit.
Yeah. Well, can you imagine? Like that's what maybe they're going for. The average person, they put it over ice or have it with a cigar, they're gonna love it. And boom.
I think the average person is looking to get a gift, high-end gift, and the average person is looking for smooth.
Well, and the bottle is sicker. Like the bottle is so nice that as a gift, it screams out.
It's
like
the big
luxury,
name, right? It's
luxury.
the Rolls-Royce, Bentley, kind of a name in whiskey.
Yeah.
And then it goes down very easy now. So when you're marketing it to that crowd, it definitely works.
It's more appealing, universally.
It's not for the whiskey enthusiast
for the
anymore.
masses. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna finally enjoy the second half of my dram of this HP 40. So good. Man.
You let it breathe enough?
Yeah.
Man, someone down quick.
Oh man.
It's juicy.
Something worth speaking of Balvenie, we just talked shit about the price increases.
Yeah.
We are so curious about the new rare marriages line.
The rare marriages line.
We talk about it daily, like, oh man, it's just so expensive. We're so curious. We so want to try it before we buy it. But yeah, it's pretty pricey, and
We're
we
still
saw the new,
Balvenie fanboys.
big time. We just
Yeah.
reviewed the batch 3-ton.
Batch 3-ton. Oh my god, what a dream.
Yeah, it is a dreaming whiskey.
And this local restaurant to you.
It only has 30 at $450 a shot.
Well, the guy told me he's getting the 40, but
Yeah, but it's gonna be like 1,500 a
yeah,
shot.
it's too much. It's too much. It's crazy. It's tough, but yeah, so curious to try. Bad Master of Malt doesn't have their USA shipping. Bottle it at retail. Buy the dram.
You never know the whiskey exchange might.
Mhm.
They did with the 25. Very curious to hear if any of
True.
you guys have tried the new rare marriages. I have talked to a few people who've tried the 25 rare marriage, and it seems like it's good whiskey, but nothing spectacular.
Right.
But I'm very curious about the new 30 and 40. I just can't imagine being even close to worth the price. We just talked about it doubling in price, but
Yeah, it won't be.
Yeah, it's very curious. That's the thing with whiskey. These big names that have produced such great whiskeys come out with new whiskeys, and they rebrand, they repackage, and they change the ABV up, and it just, as enthusiasts, we're always just so curious to, what's coming.
Cool.
It's not always.
We want to try everything.
Yeah, we want to try everything.
Of course.
That's the tough part.
It's a passion.
Yeah. Should we check on the camera?
Check on it just in case.
It's probably out already.
That's how bad we are.
It's still on.
All right, we did it. But yeah, we gotta check on it now. That's how bad we are. Never know.
What you drinking?
Dalmore Portwood Reserve. 2014 bottling. This guy says it's obviously mainly white oak ex-bourbon barrels, then finessed by aged tawny port pipes from W&J's Graham's Vineyard in Portugal. Yeah, just like every Dalmore is 40%. We always shit on it. This is 46, what do you say, 46.5%? The extra strength, man, because Dalmore makes a beautiful malt, a beautiful spirit. Like, we love the Dalmore 25, plus. So, just jacking it up here, it's beautiful.
Dalmore is the worst and some of the most amazing
God.
whiskey.
Like, if Dalmore could just do what Springbank does, I get the premium, but if Dalmore could be 46% standard
Yes.
across the board, because their malt is beautiful. It'd be nuts.
Stop coloring it, stop chill filtering
Yeah.
it, and
It'd be
give
nuts.
it to us the way it used to be. In fact, speaking of hunting, hunt for an older 12, Dalmore 12. Hunt for any older Dalmore before they decided to go this extreme high-end direction, marketing towards that rich crowd.
True.
Any whiskey brand that you see that markets towards a rich crowd will go the crystal decanter route, and will thin out their whiskey and go for the easy drinking smooth. Because the person who's going to spend money on the crystal decanter style whiskey is usually not your enthusiast, right? Who's looking for the whiskey drinker's whiskey. So they're gonna more go towards that easygoing, good flavor still, but more easygoing.
Yeah.
And Dalmore is sad what they're doing, because
they're the epitome of that.
So many people think that Dalmore sucks because they haven't tried good Dalmores.
Right.
And it's just night and day.
That's what I mean. Because Dalmore makes a great malt, but they water it down.
Dalmore can age forever.
Oh,
Not every distillate can age forever. Dalmore can age for 50 years and keep improving.
Yeah.
Not everything can. There are certain things like Macallan can age forever too. Macallan can age for a long time, but not everything can.
Right. Just now the Glenlivet 80 came out. Imagine Dalmore 80, because they're mixing the casks so well. Where it's not too much oak influence. Richard Patterson can do whatever he wants, man. But yeah, it's that lower entry level side where people get turned off, from Dalmore, especially early in the journey.
Yeah.
Really nice one.
That's the Portwood. You said that that's an older one, or is it a newer one?
2014.
2014.
It's the first year it came out.
I'm gonna try it.
Try it. But you weren't crazy about the nose.
No.
Try it.
That's why I'm gonna tumble the bitch.
Tumble that motherfucker, yeah. But just that when it's richer, 46% plus, oh, so nice. It's just like, Dalmores are good, they're sweet, they're smooth, flavorful, but 40% it can only get so good. I have the 2015 bottling of the Dalmore Cigar Malt, and that's good, but that's almost like too juicy, too drinkable, still like too smooth. 42%, I believe. This is much richer. Maltier, beautiful. Of course, rich plums, oranges.
Oh, not a huge fan of that.
I can tell.
Port. Very porty.
too porty, right?
Too porty, but it's a cigar's
I'm gonna
sweetness.
say this is the cigar malt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but the port. I'm just not a fan of port. People like port.
Mhm.
I felt so guilty once, you guys. I was invited to
Oh yeah.
to this crazy billionaire guy's house
That's tight.
for this most like extravagant event. Got to try insane stuff.
Dude, that was nuts.
Brings out this like 200-year-old port. It's like $20,000 port, and I was like
Tastes
at
like
the end,
grapes.
and I almost like spit it out. I was just like, oh my god, this is gonna ruin my you know, we're drinking crazy stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is just gonna completely ruin it. It's not a fan of port.
Too sweet, yeah.
Yeah.
Only when Springbank does it, right?
I've had port matured whiskeys that we really like. Springbank being a couple of really, really good ones. But it's hit or miss. Just hit a little sweet.
For sure. Well, and a lot of the Springbank 21s, when they mix in port, they mix it in small doses, you know? You'll never see a 70% port.
Sure. Would love to hear the area you live in and when you were able to find your last like
Right.
dusty kind of bottles.
Right. Or gem, yeah. That'd be good.
And for how much?
Yes.
And for how much? Love stories like that. I love videos. There's been like a few YouTube videos like that when people go hunting and stuff like that.
I love that.
Those are cool. It's just kind of like when people are like doing stuff like that, you start like relating to them, you know.
Mhm.
Got chilly every time during right in the middle of cigar chat.
Oxnard, man.
Gets chilly.
When that ocean breeze kicks in, baby. Never fails. Winter, summer, fall, spring. Mhm.
If you guys want, next time you're smoking a cigar, and you guys want to put on some cigar related music, you're gonna appreciate me for this one. You're welcome. Because it's hard to find good cigar music. Put on the soundtrack of The Chef. Is it Chef or just Chef?
Just chef.
The soundtrack of Chef. You're gonna get some like cigar-ish kind of music going, and it just like hits the spot.
Shout out John Favreau.
Yeah.
Picked all the music.
And if you haven't seen the movie, watch the movie for sure too.
Yeah, great movie.
The movie has nothing to do with cigars, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's our take. Yeah.
Yeah. But the soundtrack
it hits a spot, man. It's like
Hits the
Cuban
spot.
based, yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're like barbecuing some meat, you have
Yeah.
a cigar in your mouth, make a margarita,
Yeah.
you get some nice steak on there, and you're hanging out by the grill, and you're puffing. Got some chef on.
Mm-hmm. That's perfecto.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
One thing that sucks is that we used to do a lot of that stuff, and now that we do reviews, we don't see each other very often. So when we see each other, it's like,
It's all like, how many reviews we gotta do?
yeah, we got to crank out reviews because we go like months without releasing reviews,
Yeah.
and it sucks because our channel doesn't, channel is never able to grow because we go on like 6-month hiatuses.
The same thing you're saying. If we could meet regularly, you could have released the Christmas review, perhaps in the same time as Christmas.
Yeah,
Whatever,
not
you
in
know?
July.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
cigar chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Chris-
we gotta space it out.
Yeah.
Can't do like 2-3 videos a week.
Yeah, but
Be
in
nice.
terms of like we used to, throw on the grill and hang
Yeah.
out and,
Yeah.
it is what it is. It's obviously a lot of fun when we do reviews too.
Then we got kids and shit, wives and shit. Yeah. Yeah, this screams for a cigar, dude.
I didn't like it.
I'm very curious. I bet you're gonna hate the 2015 Cigar Malt Reserve as well.
Tried that one.
You did?
Yeah, I liked it better than this.
Okay, got it. Right on.
Surprised this isn't too sweet for you.
No, me too. I'm surprised too. It's so weird how like their ABV differences on what they release is the like reserve ones, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's all like random. It's like closing your eyes and throwing against a dartboard. It's funny. But yeah, Dalmore's all about. You got to get to, it's like Macallan. You got to get to the upper end to get the good stuff. Sadly,
So much more than Macallan, in my opinion. Because the old Macallan 12. Macallan 12 is their best whiskey in their lineup for the money.
true. True. Yeah, like when was the last time that Dalmore 12 was the Italian releases? Remember those? The black label?
Yeah.
You got to get some of those. The Dalmore 20.
Yeah.
Damn.
Expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have perhaps my favorite bourbon ever.
Probably is our favorite bourbon ever.
It's my favorite nose ever.
Ever. Agreed.
Yeah. We still have a couple more dusty bourbons that we recently acquired that we haven't opened yet. So I'm super excited to try those.
Mm-hmm. How dark that is, dude.
Ah, we didn't do this. We did this uncorking fairly recently, so we've been hitting this.
Yeah.
Man,
It's so good.
it's so good. And whoa,
Nice. What score do I give that?
wow. I'm trying to think of what I'm tasting. What was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, this is the first release of the cheesy foil. What was it?
Yes.
85.
85.
85.
Mhm.
From speaking of people who've tried more dusty bourbons than we have, it is easily the best one.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to get better than that, dude.
It's hard. I mean,
I would think. It's so good.
you know what's crazy about dusty bourbon is you're gonna have to like anise. You have to like that
Yeah.
black licorice.
It's an ongoing theme.
It's an ongoing theme with dusty bourbons.
Like if you hate black licorice and love kind of like modern vanilla tobacco bourbon,
Coming
yeah,
from-
it might not be your thing.
And I've said this many times. We put an order in 2 days ago again from a Swedish candy store.
Ah, the best.
Regularly importing black licorice from Europe. Is
So
how
cool.
how much I'm into it. So just imagine when I'm getting that note in these dusty bourbons, how much I'm enjoying it.
And it's funny, like I always was open to black licorice, but never loved it till I met this guy from Sweden and had like really quality black licorice. So yeah, we love it. We get that note in bourbon, we go nuts.
Yeah.
I can see that'd be a turnoff to a lot of people.
Yeah, but nobody's saying that they don't like dusty bourbon. But
Maybe they're not like connecting the dots. You know?
yeah. Should we check on the camera?
You might as well. We're checking out every second.
Might as well, right?
Camera check. Yeah, you better. Put in the dram.
Damn, we're doing good, son.
We're doing good. We gotta be paranoid now these days, man. Oops, I'm gonna go with this guy first. Beautiful. But yeah, and you know, we reviewed that one Wild Turkey 8-year-old 101 proof from the 1970s. But those are, you know, and that was early in our journey. We gave it a pretty good score, especially for a bourbon. That was early on. But I'd be curious to try all those Wild Turkey 8 101s too. When those things were so cheap, people were just gobbling them up,
I've yet to try one that wowed me.
bunkering them, you know? No, I know.
Tried quite a few now.
Yeah, because that motherfucker wowed us, dude.
This is like,
It's insane, dude.
oh my god,
Yeah.
so much tobacco.
Well, again, that old school, like, oak from trees that were hundreds of years old.
That's the thing.
Unbelievable.
That's the thing you guys got to remember with dusty bourbons too, is the American oak that they were able to use from 200-year-old trees.
They used them all up.
And they don't have, I don't know why, either those trees don't exist anymore or they're not allowed to cut those trees anymore.
Yeah, who knows?
But they're not able to use the same kind of old trees. So just think about it. Just when you fucking think about the process to make this damn spirit. You're talking about a tree that was growing for 200 years.
Yeah.
Then you turn that tree into a barrel. Then you create a spirit from corn where the soil back then was very, very different. Where the corn was grown completely different than today's corn.
Yep.
And then
like no GMOs, no additives and shit.
correct.
Organic. Yeah.
Grown with passion, grown slowly, grown without as much demand.
Grown like grandma used to do it.
Yes, yes. And then you factor in that. So you're creating your distillate from that. Then you're putting it in these amazing old trees, essentially.
Yeah.
And then you're putting out that product versus the rushed, mass-produced stuff today.
The same thing. Yeah. Mass production. It's so craft back then. I mean, the whole reason it's called cheesy gold foil is because they were like trying different new shit to sell it.
Speaking of cheese, man, there's some dirty old sock in here.
That's antique, like nasty as fuck.
There is some nasty cheese in
Yeah.
there, man. Some molded cheese.
Gym sock. Isn't that funny? All you want is like molded gym sock. No, but yeah, they couldn't sell it. So they were doing like the Old Crow Chessman. I read when those decanters came out. They were doing like some companies were doing decanters of all the different college football team mascots.
They were
Whatever they could because they couldn't sell it.
They couldn't sell it. That's why they created the Chessman, right?
Yeah.
To be able to try to sell it, they put really good whiskey in these collectible kind of things, and just to be able to try to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you do it to sell it at a markup of 10, right? You put it in a crystal decanter now, so you could sell $200 whiskey for $2,000.
Right.
Or you put limited edition on it, and you come out with a series, so you could sell it for triple the price.
Right.
But back then they did it just to be able to sell it.
Period. Stay afloat.
Yeah.
So crazy. Yeah, the market now is so nuts. You can sell anything. Rich honey beeswax, dude. 30.
The 45.7. Highland Park in general, 25s and 30s.
That's the sweet spot, man.
The variety though is insane.
Insane.
USA bottlings, UK bottlings, 48.1. The really good ones are like they're just spectacular.
Yeah.
But you can
My favorite whiskeys.
You can get ones that are just good. You can get ones that are epic.
Yeah.
So that's the hardest part. Like when people are like doing a review, and I don't want to be rude, and I'm watching the review and they like feel a certain way about the whiskey that might not be great, and I'm just like, I don't want to be that asshole to be like, yeah, but you're not. There are different varieties of that whiskey, and that's also the tricky part about watching a review and then saying me like, okay, that person loves that whiskey and I trust their opinion, I'm gonna go buy it, and you're not going and buying the same whiskey.
Yep.
You are buying Highland Park 25. You were buying the same ABV. You think you're getting the same bottle, but you're getting a completely different whiskey.
Yeah, and there's no that's a good point. Like I love Springbank where they put the code, the batch code on, the date.
Yeah.
There aren't dates on those guys, so it's hard to match apples to apples.
There's always some kind of date or code on the bottle though. Some are trickier to figure out.
It can be hard to find.
Yeah, and trickier to figure out too.
This guy I can't find it.
But what we tend to do is we tend to go bottling for, let's say it's for Italy, UK, United States, 70 CL, 75 CL, 1 liter, whatever it is, and then we go ABV, and then we figure out the vattings a lot of times by the color if it's natural colored whiskey. Sometimes you got to really try to figure it out like that. You're not guaranteed necessarily to get the same thing, but we could kind of figure it out in that way.
Yeah.
And we get fortunate enough to try different ones to know which ones we want to rebuy.
Mm-hmm.
Should write a book.
Should.
At some point, I think
Should.
we're
Like
gonna
a whiskey journal, yeah.
Yeah, we get to the point where we can.